Hello everyone, welcome back. I wanted to say that whether you're a them, a him, or a her, you're welcome here, and I'm sure you're beautiful. Happy Pride Month! Today we're gonna go ahead and take care of a few details around town. I gotta swap out some of the designs I've come up with already. I got a new path that I want to work in, and I think today would be a perfect day to start putting in some custom trees. I wanted to start off today by adding a few names into our random name generator. We got a few more name suggestions from some of our viewers. Want to go ahead and throw them into our randomizer here. So let's see, we've got wonderful Bartrude, and that comes from our viewer, Miles. 6184. So thank you, Miles. Appreciate that. Woo! And then we had another suggestion, and that was Jerry. And that comes from our viewer, Punished Zach. So thanks, Punished Zach. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, if you guys have any more name suggestions, I'd really appreciate them. So go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Another thing I wanted to take care of today, as I had mentioned in my previous episode, was I need a base camp over at spawn so that I can have access to an ender chest and just have somewhere a bit nicer to pop back into the world after an unfortunate accident's occurred. So let's go ahead and head over there and get something built up. While I'm in here gathering up some supplies, I wanted to show off that I got everything moved into the storage building here. So everything's kind of put away and organized in somewhat of a sensible fashion here. This section's of course subject to change over here. Obviously we're probably not going to need 3 boxes of just tough blocks, but I don't know. This is kind of what I had for the time being, and it's all moved in. Alright, so we're over here around world spawn. I'm not sure exactly which block is world spawn, and so I'm going to find that out by jetting myself into the air and falling down. Here we go. Huh. I guess it's right here. Well, okay then. Alright, so world spawn was on a leaf that was up there. I want to see, now that I've removed some blocks, I want to make sure that I still spawn right here. So we're going to do it one more time. No. Now I'm here. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, now I gotta see if I put that block back. What the hell is happening? Okay, so I seem to be spawning here now. I just want to make sure, once again, now that I've replaced the block, that that's still where I'm showing up. That's weird that I've ended up with 3 different spawning blocks now. But we're gonna conserve some rockets because I might have to keep doing this. Wow. Well, 5-3 seems to be the new spawning block. So I guess I can't replace the spawning block without it changing my spawning location, even though it's at the same elevation. Okay. Well, I'll mark around it, I guess. That's how we'll handle that. I'm gonna start clearing out some of this area so we can make a campsite, and it looks like we're gonna have a pretty good view here to spawn into. Okay, so now I got myself second guessing. I want to just check that I'm still spawning here on 5-3, and I've resorted to new methods of offing myself. Don't want to waste any more rockets, and running them back and forth up the hills kind of driving me nuts, so we're just gonna do this. Oh my god. Okay. So now we're at 10-0. Well, let's see if we try again, if we still get 10-0 now. What is happening? That's so strange. I always thought that world spawn was like a consistent block. I'm gonna try investigating a little bit and see what other people maybe have to say about this changing spawn situation. This is kind of crazy. I've never experienced this. Okay, so it looks like if I grab a compass, it should point to the actual world spawn block. What I was getting confused about is that apparently when you spawn back in, it puts you somewhere within the spawning chunk, not on the exact world spawn point. So we're going to find the exact world spawn point and then kind of carve out the chunk and turn that into our campsite. Let me go get a compass. Here's another nice little thing I put together. I actually have a redstone box now. This block. Right here, I think. Oh. No kidding, huh? 0, 0. Well, I don't think that's necessarily the world spawn, given the other information I have. But I'm treating 0, 0 as world spawn, and we're just going to clear out a little bit of a flatter area here for me to build in a campsite. So I'm just kind of going to build a little plateau, I think, here. And clear out some of these trees. Yeah. All right, so I did some terraforming here and kind of ripped out some of the mountainside. I think I'm happy with the kind of shape that we've got going on here. I think this looks a bit Minecraft natural. It's hard to get actual natural in the game because everything's so big and blocky. But, you know, it doesn't look like natural generation in the world, but it does kind of look like a pseudo-realistic rock face hillside here. And then I decided to make an upper area here as well as a lower area down here that I'm going to be throwing in some tents. And we're going to throw in some more trees, of course. I did rip a bunch out just so I could get a better visual of what space I have to work with here. But I think this is a really good view to have for a campsite. So I do want to keep kind of this sight line here, but still fill in some trees here and there. Probably put a couple of tents, maybe a campfire down here. Probably throw a few tents around here. Maybe another campfire kind of centered here. And I was thinking it would be kind of nice to have a stream coming down here and running off into the ocean. And what I found when I was looking up here was I actually have a realistic water source, which is snow runoff. So I'll probably create some sort of stream coming from here, coming all the way down and going down this place here where it already kind of looks a little eroded away. And we'll just continue the path down to the ocean here. And that'll add in a little bit of, a little bit of blue. And I don't know, just adds to the ambiance of the kind of campgrounds. This is a little bit of a longer time lapse here, but I wanted to show all the nitty-gritty details of me going around and trying to figure this build out. I didn't have anything pre-planned, I didn't build anything in creative or even really know what the terrain looked like prior to showing up here. And I just kind of wanted to show off how the build process went. Showing a bit more than I typically do with time lapses, and just how I ended up working with the environment I found myself in to create the different features, the different levels of terrain, and tried to frame with trees and sight lines. You'll have to let me know if you like this longer style of time lapse or if you'd prefer shorter ones. Not really sure what other people are into, but just experimenting a little bit, and that's, again, kind of what this series is about. Just trying to figure out what my style is and what I like to present to people and how I want to do it. So, yeah, give me some input down below in the comments. I'd appreciate that. For the tents, I decided to go with these typical bright, vibrant colors, the blue and the yellow here, to help contrast against the natural background. Really helps them pop and stand out amongst all the greenery. You'll see me adding a lot of grass and flowers here. I really wanted the environment to feel wild, like we're really out in the midst of nature. And I did try pushing it out into more peripheral zones, kind of areas that the player won't be wandering, because it really helps with immersion. I really like adding rock features like this, throwing in a bit of texturing and depth. Helps the environment feel more realistic. But I'm just going to let you guys watch the rest of this process, and then we'll get in and explore. All right, so this is what we ended up with here. I put in the creek like I was talking about, the little waterfall that comes down. And just kind of put in a couple of tents, some little campfire pits. You know how they have those obnoxiously colored chairs that people always take camping? Decided to try and emulate that with these warped and crimson stair blocks here. And I built the little path down to the bottom layer here with another tent and another little fireplace. And we got a pretty good view off to the side here. Inside the tent, I just threw in some sleeping bags. And I found some bee nests, so I put those around here and bred up some bees, so there's a little bit of movement in the area, apart from just the campfire smoke. Pretty happy with how this path work kind of turned out. It's a little more sparse and overgrown compared to what we have in the village, but I think that's suiting for the environment here. And then of course this yellow tent here is my utility tent. So I'm gonna need, you know, some netherite backup armor to throw on here, but I've got a little chest with some food and rockets and elytra that needs enchanted. And this gives me access to my ender chest, so when I do inevitably croak without a bed, I'll end up somewhere in this vicinity. At least I should. From what I can tell, any grass block within this 21 by 21 square block radius of 0, 0 on our map at least, it should be a valid spawning block when you don't have a bed. And then just in case, for whatever reason, I did hide a bed under here. Unfortunately, I can't put the snow layer for a pillow because this light keeps melting it. But I think this turned out pretty well. I'm very happy with the feel that it has. It does feel pretty outdoorsy to me. And you guys will have to let me know what you think. Is there something I should have put in that I didn't? Any way to improve what I've got going on here? I'd be curious to see if you guys have any input. Let's go ahead and head on back to the village. We'll go ahead and start working on our new path over there. Try and calm down the busy tones that I threw in previously. And there's a few other things around town I want to fix up, as well as we're going to throw in some custom trees. All right, we're back here at the base. And so this is the chaotic path work that I'm talking about. It's just too busy. And so I did come up with a more subtle version of what we can have here. And I'm pretty excited to implement it. I think it'll look a lot better. Because right now, this chaotic pattern kind of draws your eye, and it's not very appealing. So when I tone it down, it's going to allow for you to kind of just have it blend into the background and let other parts of the village become the focal points. But I do want to start off with taking care of this busy mess. I'm kind of tired of this drawing my eye, and so I'm going to bring a little more subtlety to this, and that's a good starting point. We'll go there first. There, we got that toned down. That is looking a lot better. And look what I found. So that's going to need dealt with. Don't want that creating lag around here. Let me take care of this little problem. Ah! Ah! Ooh. Ugh. Check this out. Wow. Doesn't that look so much better? It looks more, you know, subtle and nuanced as opposed to like loud and in your face. Feels more adult, you know? Kind of just like more thought was put into it. And I added a bunch of rock features around town and some gravel in places because I wanted to break up the monotoned colors here. But you can see how I toned it down just a lot more considering how it was. And I wanted to show off a feature that I haven't really seen too many people implementing. And that is I did these little kind of like running... I don't know how to describe it. Like a trickle of water, and it kind of builds up sediment. As time passes, it kind of carries mud and dirt and rocks in a particular direction. I did this in a couple of areas, and I feel like it just adds extra little bit of realism, you know, to the areas. You can see it here, too. It's very subtle detail, but I feel like it adds a lot. If it ever catches your eye. So just an idea for when you're detailing things. Now, something that's been driving me nuts that I gotta fix is we can't have all these roofers hanging around all the time. So I'm gonna rip out the hill just a little bit behind here so that these guys quit climbing on the roof all the time. And I have been blowing through rockets. I have not been conserving these things very much at all. But check this. So now those guys won't be jumping around on the roof all the time. And while I was at it, I decided to open this up a bit so we don't end up with those iron golems getting stuck in here anymore. And cleared away the hillside so no one would be tempted to walk up here either. Now that we've got those things out of the way, I gotta just patch this roof real quick, and it'll be time to move on to the custom trees. So I do want to put a large custom oak tree right here in the center of town. I think that would be a great kind of spectacle And then I did want to try and make a custom, I don't know, redwood, I suppose, right here. Just a smaller one. A little bit larger than this default tree is. And then I did want to tackle this big guy and this big guy here. So let's go ahead and start off with the oak tree. Before we do that, though, I did hear the villagers whispering about something to do with the nether. And so I want to go check out what that might all be about. What the hell? Do not enter. Hey, Cletus, you know anything about... Don't go in the nether right now. Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but... What the hell's going on in there, guys? Yeah, you just gonna ignore me? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. These guys are being weird. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but yeah, we weren't planning on going in there anyway. We're just gonna make this tree in town. We'll have to figure out what that's all about later on, I guess. Alright, so taking a look at this current oak tree that we've got here. I think I want to leave the honeycomb exactly where it is, and I had laid out these lines because I had come up with a design and creative mode for how I wanted to build the tree. But I'm kind of second guessing my design now, and I think I want to make it a little bit bigger, so actually we're going to end up kind of winging it, despite all my pre-planning. With an oak tree, I do want to kind of treat it as a shade tree, and so I think I'm going to extend out some branches that can kind of give some coverage over the path network here. Maybe a little bit into this path network here, and just a smidge over here as well. And we're going to want to go with a nice kind of rounded, bushy shape. Not an exact sphere, so to speak, but you'll see what I end up coming up with here. Pretty excited about it. But let me go grab some supplies, and then we'll do a little time lapse to see how this turns out. I hadn't done too many custom trees prior to this one, and I wanted to spend a little extra time giving the tree here a little TLC. So I spent a couple of hours working on the branch structuring, the wood placement, as well as some of the leaf texturing. I used a couple of different types of leaves here. And then I spent probably a majority of my time just trying to form a shape for the overall bushiness of the tree and give it a good aesthetic from down below as well as up above. And I just wanted to say real quick, if you're liking the video, I'd really appreciate it. It would help me out a lot if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button. And if you like what I've got going on here, you want to see some more, maybe consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, let's take a look at how this sucker turned out. Man, I'm happy with that. Let's go check it out. So what I ended up doing here was taking the wood blocks, that's the all-facing wood here, and I placed them at a downward angle, and that kept this uniform texture with the tree here. I noticed whenever I place up against the side and you get that sideways texture, it was just too immersion breaking, kind of distracting from what was going on detail-wise. And how you get this nice, beautiful, fluffy, bushy texture in the tree here is you leave a lot of air gaps in between. So if you were to take a block and place a leaf block on each side and then remove the block in the middle of them all, that's kind of what I'm referring to here. In addition to that, I use some spruce fences because it kind of blends with the oak wood, and that leaves a lot of, again, airy gaps in between that allow the sky to shine through. Makes it feel real nice and puffy. In addition to that, what I ended up doing was using some mangrove leaves to kind of darken the underside. Use as like a shading kind of tool. And then I used azalea leaves, as you can see here, for different highlights. So I figured, you know, the lantern's going to be emitting light upwards, so I did a little bit of lighting here, a little bit of lighting there. But I primarily kept the azalea leaves to the top, where the sun would be highlighting the leaves. I left the bee's nest right where it was, and just kind of built the tree around it. I also extended the podzol out, trying to treat it kind of like fallen leaves that haven't been picked up. Almost gives a fall time look to it. But I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think this tree is gorgeous and a much better spectacle to have your eye be caught by rather than, you know, the chaotic pathing mess we had before. I'm very happy with this. You guys will have to let me know what you think about it. If you like it, if there's something you would have done differently, if you learned something. I really like to know stuff like that, so please leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Apart from that, I think I'm going to get working on this tree here. We'll do another time lapse. I'll pop back in and explain that one. Here's some of the reference pictures I had around for the redwood trees, and I do want to just point out, you can see at the ends of the branches here, there's just this little swoop up. They do kind of have the slight downward slant, but they do kind of pop back up here at the end. And that wasn't something I really had a comfortable feeling about doing in Minecraft, again, because blocks kind of take up so much space, it would be a little too dramatic in-game. So I just kept the downward slant, and I kind of over-dramatized the downward slant maybe a little bit more than I should have, but overall I'm very happy with the representation I came up with here. Alright, look how this one turned out. Nice and airy. Now, back when I did my forest video, I had mentioned that the custom spruce trees, in this case, I tried to go for a bit of a redwood tree. You'll have to let me know if I succeeded on that front. I'd mentioned that they take up too much room for me to feel comfortable using them to create a thick canopy, like I was going for in the forest over here. This is kind of what I was meaning. So I had a prototype built out in creative mode that was a different design than this, but I'm a lot happier with what I ended up with here. I think this turned out pretty good. And, you know, I kind of dolled up the area around it, threw in some ferns, some mushrooms, of course the podzol, to give that fallen pine needle feel. Or not pine needle, redwood feel. But yeah, this is how it turned out. Pretty happy with it. Now, I did notice I was having a little bit of issue when I was looking at the oak tree over here. I feel like maybe I went a little overboard with the leaves underneath. And so I'm going to clear out just a little bit from the base here of the trunks. That way you could see more of the actual branches. I feel like that'll feel a little more natural than how it comes across right now. So I'm going to do that real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and start working on this tree, and I'll pull off both of those in a time lapse, then we'll come back around and check everything out. As we get into these big boys here, you might be asking yourself, why is this guy only doing 4 custom trees? Shouldn't you be trying to overhaul the whole area? And what I've come to learn is when you're dealing with these more rural kind of villages with a lot of nature in the landscape, you kind of want to pick and choose your custom trees, that it will help contrast against the vanilla trees and really make the ones that you spent extra time on stand out. Now, you would probably in a more cityscape kind of area with a lot of concrete, stone buildings, you probably want all of your trees to be custom because they're already being contrasted by the man-made structures. That's just a little tip that I came up with, and I don't know, maybe it can help you out in some of your builds. This looks a lot better, don't you think? Taking out a couple of those leaves, kind of exposing the branches a little bit more. Feels a little more realistic. I've got some images up on the screen now that should be showing off pictures of some of the oak trees that we had in our yard. Pretty happy with it. Now, as far as these big boys go, I am completely jubilated about this. So let's go over what we got here. I threw in some nice root structure to try and, you know, kind of break away from this blocky base that we have, the trunk. Try and give it a little bit of personality. In addition to that, I did also create a fallen limb here. So that's what I'm trying to convey with the chose spruce, because it's kind of dead and drying out, as opposed to the dark oak that was used for the actual branches, the normal branches. I have it going across the path here, and like it kind of fell and snapped off on this rock. Fell down into the pit here and then snapped off the tip here. Tried to include some lichen, because that's what would be, you know, all over a rotting limb. In addition to mushrooms and the podzol to kind of convey that the leaves are decaying. We've got some, of course, mushrooms growing in the decayed leaves. Threw a bunch of ferns around the base of the tree here. And I'm pretty happy with how the shapes came out. I know we're spending a lot of time on this one. Let's go look at the other one. So as I did on the smaller tree over there, I tried dolling up the underneath just a little bit here, adding in the podzol, conveying those fallen redwood. I guess you would call them needles. I'm not sure the actual term for that. But as if those had fallen over a large period of time and built up kind of this blanket below the tree here. I did also try and do a root structure and added in lichen on the living tree. And ferns, mushrooms, berry bushes, all that fun stuff. I'm stoked on how these turned out. I feel like this town just feels so much better with the custom trees, the more calmed down pathwork here, the little rock structure details we threw in. This is looking so much better than it was. Wow. Guys, you like the trees? Like how they're turning? Yeah? Yeah, that's looking good, huh? Hey, you know, I'm still bugging about what the hell's going on in the nether. I'm gonna have to ask Clyde and Cletus why I'm not allowed in the nether. You know, I think this is a done job here, so let's go talk to them real quick. Alright, let's get to the bottom of this. Okay, well, it looks like, huh. They tore down the barricade. Hey, Clyde, Cletus. What the hell's going on? Why am I not allowed in the nether? Huh? What the hell? There's something for me in the nether now, huh? Yeah? What the hell are you guys up to, huh? Okay, well let's go check that out. You're right. What is that? Holy crap. Look at this. Oh my god. It's so long. What the hell is that? Oh. Holy crap. What? What is all this? Thank you. Head through to the back. Holy Jesus. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, that's a cool effect. Look at that. Blue to red. That's sick. This thing's huge. Holy shit. Let's see what's back here. Head on up. What does that say? For maintenance. Head on up. What is this thing? Oh my God. To our friendly neighborhood lobster, the community has been so helped by your deeds that we wanted to repay the favor. Hopefully this Ghast Farm will help you keep your rockets fueled and your wings afloat. Thank you for all that you do. Love, your community. What the f... That's so nice of them. Holy sh... My God, that's a hideous sound. Oh my God. That is so cool. That is gonna help out so much. Dude, I've been talking about how my been talking about how my rockets are running low, and well, they built me this farm. My God, this thing's huge. And very pretty. That, man, that's the coolest. I'm gonna have to use this in between episodes. I know that 1.20 is out. 1.2001 is actually out at this point. And I was waiting on a few of my mods to catch up with their updates. But in the meantime, I guess I could use this to get some gunpowder, and we could go out to the desert, grab some sand, get some TNT, and go netherite hunting. And I'll probably end up doing a bunch of that in between episodes. And I'll stockpile some rockets while I'm at it. Dude, that is so freaking cool. Thank you. I mean, that note they wrote was so sweet, too. We gotta go thank Clyde and Cletus. Let's go talk to them. Gentlemen, did you help with the building effort? Thank you, guys. Clyde, Cletus. What the hell? Yeah, I saw. Thanks, guys. That's so helpful. God, I love you too. I'm assuming you kind of orchestrated this thing, huh? Yeah? Clyde? You hiding over here, you all shy now? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Oh, man. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it, trust me. Alright, guys, let's go make some episode maps and wrap this sucker up, huh? Alright, this is as good a place as any to start off. I'm gonna do 9 maps, a little 3x3. So we'll show off what all has changed. Decided to head over here to the camp that we made at the beginning of the episode. I'm a huge fan of this area. I think this turned out so freaking good. It feels so inviting, and I think the views are pretty good here. We got some awesome sight lines. I really like this one here. And this one here. I think it feels immersive, at least to me. You guys will have to let me know if you like it as well. But the episode maps, so decided to post them up over here because we built this whole area this episode and didn't really get a map of this area, unfortunately, beforehand, so figured it probably wasn't worth doing one after, but it's far as the town center goes, I made a 3x3 just so we could get this extra little bit going down to our storage system here. The older map that I have on the left here, I only did a 2x3, so we didn't get the bottom area there, but you can see in the center of town here the big difference. So this path work looks a lot more filled in than it did previously. And you can see this tree here stands out as a completely different shape, as well as this tree here is standing out as a completely different shape. And I think it was cool, you can actually even see the fallen limb here. Takes up a good amount of space. This tree here is another one that we put in, and it stands out comparatively to the old map, and I love the shape of this tree. This really kind of shows off an organic shape even on the map. I think that turned out super well. I'm super happy about everything that we did this episode. I think that we got a hell of a lot done. Not just this area. I mean, this is where we just started off. I think normally, you know, people would make a whole episode just revolving around this project here, but then we went into town, we fixed up a bunch of little detailing, and holy crap, the villagers surprised me with Ghast Farm. That was pretty sick. I'm super stoked on that, and as I was mentioning previously, in between episodes, I'm probably going to go build up a bunch of TNT and go netherite mining to prepare for the 1.20 update that we'll be making, hopefully, rather soon. Depends on whether or not those mods update. Because we're so close to having all the mods updated, I want to just hold out for the one or two that are lagging behind a little bit. And so I just wanted to say thanks to anybody that stuck around. I'm really curious to hear what you guys feel about all of what we did this episode. Please let me know down in the comments. I want to know what you liked, what you didn't like, if you would have done something different. That's all cool info for me to get from you guys. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Stick around for the time lapse with shaders of everything that we got done today. And I'll see you later. Bye.